Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Melrose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology post, which you can find on my other channel, Astrology Today with Melrose. The idea behind the second post here is to bring further intuitive insight to the day's energies. I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll make a quick review of the day's astrology before I play another tarot card, which may give us something more to think about. Okay, let's get into it. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Two of Cups, and it's there because it relates astrologically to the first decan, or the first 10 days of the sun's transit through Cancer. So Cancer is a water sign, cups are water in the tarot, and water as an elemental symbolism is about emotion. It's about creativity, and it's about our intuitive resource. So in the Two of Cups here, we see a pair of people who have joined together as one. And you could look at that and see perhaps a wedding, but it's not necessarily like that. It's really just a partnership based on regard, that, a certain amount of regard, care, loving, friendship that these two people have for one another. And you see this caduceus here really gives an energy of two being unified into one, sort of almost acting as a lightning rod to bring power down into that union. And I love the red wings on the card there too. They usually indicate sort of blessings and protection. So the Two of Cups is a moment of unity where two people join in partnership, and this can be a friendship, this can be a business partnership, it can be a romantic connection, but basically, these are two people who feel good about one another, and they feel good about what it is that they're about to try to build together. You see that house in the background. This is sort of like the potential for what might come from this union, based on the fact that these people do have regard for each other, and so we assume that they will be engaged in that partnership in good faith. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle my cards and remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Cancer now. So we are a few days past the summer solstice. The days are very long this time of year. It is the official beginning of summer. And, that's when the sun goes into Cancer, is at summer solstice. So, it's interesting to me that the hottest part of the year is when we go into this cardinal water sign. And cardinal water really initiates, like I said, water is emotion, right? So initiates emotion, initiates connection with other people or between people, initiates, intuitive work, and initiates creativity as well. And the sun being in Cancer right now, so that emotional capacity for connection is very much on the forefront of our minds. Cancer rules the moon, so it's almost like our outer lives are kind of all about our inner lives at this time. Cancer rules the moon, so it's about the heart and the home, how we feel on the inside. What is it like to be me, and who am I when I am at home, right? So the moon is a waning crescent at this time, almost new. It'll be new on Tuesday, and moves out of Taurus and into Gemini today. So when the waning crescent moon is in Taurus, I just imagine my Taurus friends out there cleaning their homes from top to bottom. It's a time of release. It's a time to let go of stuff, and Taurus is a very physical, earth element kind of vibe that likes to get grounded in the comforts of home. That's so possibly it was helping us finish up some physical work that Moon in Aries initiated for us, and then as it moves into Gemini, we can start to also not just release stuff, but to release outdated ideas, beliefs, thoughts, attitudes, and dispositions that no longer work for us, that hold us back, that no longer help us be pulled forward into, the future that that we want to see for ourselves. Uh, Most of the action happened on the moon side of the page today. So at 8 o'clock this morning, moon goes square to Saturn. And, I've always thought that that could have a kind of depressed feeling, or sort of a restricted feeling. But what I realize now, because I'm beginning to see the square as more of an opportunity than just a suppression, right? It's not meant to stop me. It's meant to make me move forward. So the opportunity here is to like sort of slow down and reflect on what my responsibility is at that time, and remind myself why I'm dedicated to doing the things that I said that I would do, and then follow through on them. And then just an hour later, these are 2 hour aspects. So just an hour later, moon goes sextile to Neptune. We've been having this conversation about Saturn and Neptune, reality and fantasy, stability, boundaries, and then sort of lacking boundaries, and vagueness, and sort of murky waters. Moon sextile to Neptune, says we can feel the connections to the people around us. We can sort of feel the vibe. It's easy to read the room, and know what it is that the people around us are feeling. And because we can feel the vibe, we can rely on that connection to help us if we feel weighed down or slowed down by that moon square Saturn. And that Saturn and Neptune thing has really just been like, when Saturn goes hard on us, Neptune is there to help us lighten up. Neptune is there to help us, fantasize, or help us connect with others while we still have our heads down and we're working on this stuff that we have to work on. And then, when Neptune goes negative on us, and things get confusing, Saturn is there to be like the ground, the reality that we can pay attention to, the what's right in front of me. So that's a sort of interesting dance that we've been watching. We've done this with the moon a couple times now, and we did it with Venus and the sun, and coming up this next week, Mercury is also going to make aspects with both Saturn and Neptune. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, void of course moon goes trine to Pluto. At this time, any deep recall, any insights or visions that you have are a blessing. They're probably going to feel good. They're probably going to show us something good. If you can get engaged in your intuitive practice at that time, there's a real opportunity to help yourself have your mind changed for the better about something. And then moon makes ingress. We've got a nice 4-hour void of course there, and then moon makes ingress to Gemini for a couple of days. Express what's in your heart, especially with the sun in Cancer. Cancer is all about the heart, and Gemini is all about expression, so that's going to be the vibe. On the sun side of the page, we have a couple of ongoing things. Venus is trine to Pluto, so our bonds, our attachments to the people that we keep close to us are growing stronger at this time. So, hey, be careful about the company you're keeping, right? And don't keep company with people who drag you down or insult you, or don't support you or celebrate you. And also, focus on, as far as, your Venus being in this trine position, it's like we have this blessed ability to attract to us pretty much anything that we need or desire. So focus on what it is that you would like to draw toward yourself. Focus on what it is that you'd like to attract into your life. And then Pluto is also Pluto is retrograde through October 8th, so those are endings and beginnings happening on the inside. And Saturn is retrograde through October 22, and that is, really taking a look at stuff that we think is structural or foundational to our personal sense of well-being, and we're really bringing it under review because Saturn is in Aquarius, and it wants to know those things that you rely on especially socially out in the world, the grace of other people, is that something that everybody can rely on? Because if it's just a support that you can rely on, but other people cannot, then it's not a good support, and we've got to fire it. We've got to get rid of it and learn to lean on the supports that work for everybody. Ooh, and we got the death card. Okay, so the death card, believe it or not, is not a dun dun dun. Okay, it's not bad news. And you can tell because I started right out by saying it's not bad news, guys. No. The death card really just indicates that change is coming, okay? Or that change is upon us. And really, change, right, is the only constant. So just be aware that things are ending and beginning. And I don't know if I said this on this podcast, on this vlog, or on the other one, but death is just an indication that in order for something new to arise, something old has to kind of be destroyed. And I used as an example this pristine white plain piece of paper that I use every day, and I mark it up with markings that are only going to be valid for one day, right? The piece of paper basically gets destroyed, but the report gets made, right? So this is what death does. Death reminds us that in order to, what do you want to say? Make an omelet, you've got to break a few eggs. Something along those lines. Death reminds us that, things fall away from us and other things arise. So be aware of that, be prepared to see some change come into your life. Be aware that when one thing is ending, that means another thing is beginning. And you may not really know what that means when it happens. And be aware that that these transformations, Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, but especially Pluto retrograde, those things that we thought were foundational to us that are coming to an end on the inside, in our inner lives, in our hearts, in our mind, in our deep psyche. Some things are coming to an end so that something new can arise from them. And it's really a natural thing. It's a part of maturing. It's a part of growing as a human. And yes, even at 49 years old, I consider myself still maturing and growing as a human. And I hope that you do too. So embrace the change, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, understand that it is coming, and the feelings that come from it sometimes don't feel great. Sometimes they do. Probably more optimism at the fresh start than there is at the at the dead end, right? But it pays to at least take an attitude toward the change, like, yes, of course, we're going through this change, and we're going to come out on the other end better. Taken together with the Two of Cups, there's also the reminder that things change, okay? So these people are joined together because they have some sort of love or affinity or regard for one another. And if that love or affinity or regard changes in the heart of one of those people, then you no longer have the same pairing or partnership, right? So things change. Things fall away, something else comes up. But also, if you do maintain that relationship, with a sense of respect and honor for the other person, with a sense of love and regard for the other person, then there really isn't any change that you can't face together. That's the strength of the pair. I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate your presence with me in the morning. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.